the participants and our experts for this third day of FDP. The first session is conducted by VI Solutions and our today's Mr. Eshaki Raja S. So welcome, sir. Mr. Esaki Raja S. graduated as a electronics engineering from Anna University, Chennai. Currently, he is designated as Senior Application Engineer in VI Solution, Bangalore. He is certified LabVIEW developer and handling the major responsibility of supporting various industries in implementing several turnkey systems and system integration projects using NI technology. He is also took part in deploying research lab like FPGA based data acquisition and control design, automation in machine lab in various institutions. He had conducted more number of hands-on training to engineering institute of various branches on LabVIEW basics and data acquisition in NI embedded platform. He also had conducted many faculty development workshops on various trending technologies, including signal and image processing, PQA, and PMU. He has delivered more than 30 lectures on experiential engineering education on various technology topics. So now I would like to invite Mr. Raja to start his presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your warm welcome, sir. So before I'm getting into this, just give me the confirmation on my audio whether it is audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Audible.
Yeah, thank you. So good morning, all. So myself, Sik Raja from VA Solutions, Bangalore. So I'm the one who is going to handle today's session. Okay. So before I'm getting into the session, just I'll share my system screen. Yes. So today's session, right? We are going to work with a tool called a multisim. So yesterday, Mr. Nagarajan has handled about a LabVIEW, right? It is again a different tool that is a multisim. Again, this tool is also from National Instruments only. Okay. So before I'm getting into this session, first I'll tell you what would be the today's agenda. Okay. So first we are going to start with a multisim tool. So it is one of the simulation tool. You might be worked on a different tool, right? Even this is similar as one of those tool only. Okay. We are going to start with this multisim tool. We are going to develop a simple circuit. Like we are going to see how to develop a simple circuit. Till this part, this multisim, right? This will be similar as other simulation tool. Okay. After that, okay, once you understand the environment, next we are moving to co-simulation part. Okay, so co-simulation in the sense with the same circuit, like in a multisim, if you have developed any circuit simulation, the same code, like the same circuit, we can design on real world. Okay, in multisim itself, we can compare actual circuit output with the real circuit output. Okay, so that is possible in multisim. Okay, this is one of the advantage when it comes to multisim. Like we can connect a hardware. I hope you remember yesterday, Mr. Nagarajan has shown MyDAC hardware, right? The same hardware we are going to use today also. So what we can do is we'll give the same connection in the same circuit in multisim, and the same circuit connection we'll give for a hardware also. In a single software, we are going to compare a simulation output and a real circuit output. Okay, so this is the first thing. This will be doing in multisim. Okay, and the next step, okay, then after this we'll be seeing a communication between a multisim and LabVIEW. Okay, so this will be calling as multisim LabVIEW co-simulation. Okay, it will be like our circuit will be in a multisim. Okay, and the input and output for our circuit, right, will be providing this from a LabVIEW. Okay, so this will be the third thing. Okay, so third concept which you are going to see today. And finally, I'm going to show you a different analysis available in this multisim tool. Okay, so this will be the today's agenda. Okay, so without further delay, I can directly get into the session. Okay, so first we are going to start with the environment, like working environment of an multisim. Okay, already few people, like a few maybe worked on a multisim, so that's not a problem. Just I'll quickly give an overview about an multisim environment. Okay, so here in this you
Sir,
can able, yes.
in the presentation, if you click hide, we can see the full screen easily.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes. So in this, you can able to see, if you open a new multisim environment, right, this is how it will look. Okay. So in this, in the left-hand side, okay, so this block, right, this is actually a component toolbar. Okay, this whole part, right, this will be calling as a component toolbar. From this component toolbar only are going to take a different components, like whatever the components we require for our circuit design, right, all those components will take from this component toolbar only. Okay, and next we have a simulation toolbar that will be used to run our simulation. Okay, so these right, these stuffs. Okay, so these are all a simulation toolbar. This will be used to run our simulation. And in your right hand side, we can able to see virtual instruments. Like in our laboratory, we will be having instruments like oscilloscope, a function generator, and multimeter. We'll be using few desktop instruments in our laboratories, right? All those instruments are simulated over here. Okay, so if you want to connect with any of those instruments, you can able to access those instruments from this virtual instrument palette. Okay, so this is actually the virtual instrument palette. From here you can access different virtual instruments. Okay, so here already we have few instruments. If you want to add any new instrument, right, we have to develop like schematic, and we can add those instrument in this virtual instrument palette. Okay, so these are some important things which you need to know from a multisim environment. Okay, so apart from this, okay, when you place a component, okay, when you place a component, we'll be having some option as a database. Okay, so actually we have a three different kind of database, like master database, a corporate database, and user database. Okay, so master database in the sense it will be having all the components. Okay, it will be having every component which comes along with our tool. Okay, so with the master database, right, we don't have an option to edit, nothing. Okay, once you install the software, what all the components will come along with your tool, right, all those components will come under master data. We'll see what exactly this corporate database. So corporate database in the sense, if you for example, let us consider as, okay, so we'll be using like a few components very frequently. Okay, so what we can do is all those components, okay, so we can put it in the corporate database. Okay, from a master database, I can take a few components, I can put inside a corporate database, and I can make use of the I can make use of this component from corporate database, and who are using this corporate database in our office, right, everyone have an access to those component. Okay, apart from that, okay, apart from that, if I want to create my own component, like for example, in a master database, right, we'll be not having a simulated component for every component. Okay, so we'll be not having a few components in a master database, like the whatever the real component we have, right, we'll be not having a simulation of those component. Okay, in those cases, what we can do is we can design a component, we can store it in a corporate database and user database anywhere. Okay, wherever you want, right, we can able to save Okay, so either in a corporate database or user database. The only difference between corporate database and user database is if you are storing your component under corporate database, that those components are accessed by those components will be shared over a network. Okay, so those components will be shared over a network. So who are connected to the like I'm gonna create some component. If I store that component under a user database, only I can able to access it. Okay, so that is actually an user database. Okay, so these are all the three different database. Master database, in the sense it will be having every component which comes along with the tool. Okay, so master database can have only the component which comes along with the tool. Like while installing a few our user database, it is like a customization. Like we'll be using a few components frequently, right? Those components we can add under this database and we can easily access it. And the second advantage of corporate or user database is, if any component not available in a master database, we can able to design the component and we can store it under corporate or user. Okay, so the only difference between corporate and user databases, if it is corporate, whoever connect to the network, everyone can able to access it. Corporate in the sense, if I save in my system, only I can able to access those component. Okay, so this is the three different database available in a multisim. Okay, so yes, so if you want to place any component, right? So this is how your place component window will work. So first we have to choose the database. So we are not going to use a user or network database. We are going to use master database only. Okay. Under database, we will be having a different groups. Okay. So under database, we will be having a different groups like source. Okay. So under the source, we can able to get power supply, a ground, all those stuffs. Okay. And then we have a basic. So in a basic, right, we'll be having resistor, capacitor, inductor, all those are basic components. Then we have a diode, a resistor, then analog components, and TTL, CMOS, then microcontroller unit. And if you want to generate some motor, those kind of stuffs, right, you can take it from electromechanical. So from this group, we can access AC motor, DC motor, induction motor. Okay, so here we have a different groups. Okay, under every database we'll be having a different groups. So we have to choose a proper group to access the corresponding component. Okay, so either we can do that, else in a group we can select all group and we can search for a component. Okay, anything is possible. Like here you can able to see a group is been selected as a transistor. Okay, so group is been selected as transistor. So it is showing a different transistor like BJT, IGBT. So the components which comes along the analog, right, it will be displayed like op amp, comparator, a differential amplifier. All those components will be displayed under analog group. Okay, and as I said about a source, okay, here you can able to see we have a source, a power source. Okay, then voltage control source, current control source. So those stuffs will come under sources. Okay, so filtering the components for your selection. Okay, so either you can do like this, else what you can do is here you can set it as all group. In the component, right, you can search. Okay, you can directly search for example, if it is a diode, mostly in colleges, right, mostly you'll be using 1N4007 diode, right? So what you can do is you can directly type the diode name and you can easily take that. Okay, instead of browsing, you can type in this component board. We can able to directly take that component also. Even that is possible. Okay, so now before I'm getting into the tool, first I'll tell you what should be the steps involved for a simulation. Okay, so first we need to open a multisim tool. Okay, then we have to take, or we have to place every component for our circuit in our environment. Okay, our circuit environment. Okay, and the third step is we have to give a wire connection between the components. Then we need to connect a source, and if you want to measure anything, okay, we have to take a measurement instrument like oscilloscope, ammeter, voltmeter, or if you want to measure a power, we have to take a watt meter. Okay, so whatever the measurement we have to do, right, the corresponding instruments have to be placed. Okay, after that we can run a simulation. Okay, so this will be the steps. Before I'm moving to the next one, I'll open a multisim tool. So I'll just go to start, and let me search as a multisim. I can just open it. Okay, so yes, I just opened a new design in a multisim. Okay, so as I already told you, this will be the component toolbar. Okay, so till this part. Okay, so all these are a component toolbar. From here, we can take our required components. Okay, from here we can take our required components, and as of now I'm going to start with a very simple code. Okay, so like a simple circuit design. Okay, so better I can go with a simple voltage divider. Okay, so I hope you don't know how exactly the voltage divider works, right? So I'm going to take a simple voltage divider circuit. So for an voltage divider, I just need to take a resistor. Okay, so here you can able to see here this is how we are going to design our circuit. Like I'm gonna take a two resistor. Either I can take a common value resistor, or I can take a two different value resistor. Okay, first okay, better we'll take two different value resistors, so we know the ratio to identify, right? But I can go with two different value resistors, and uh, either we can use a multimeter or we can use a voltmeter. Okay, so yes, just we'll design this circuit. So first we need a resistor. All right, so here you can able to see the second one is actually place basic icon. Okay, so this is actually an place basic icon. I can just click over here. Okay, it is selected as basic. Take one kilo ohm resistor, and I'll place it over here. And again, I'm going to take 100 ohm resistor. Okay, so now I'm going to take 100 ohm resistor. Let me take, and I'm gonna put it over. To give a connection, but now you can able to see my resistors are placed in a horizontal way. Okay, so we have to change it as in a vertical way. So I need to rotate these resistors. Okay, to rotate the components, not only a resistor, to rotate any component, what you can do is either you can right click, you can choose rotate 90-degree clockwise or 90-degree counterclockwise. Okay, we'll be having an option. So else we can use a shortcut called Control R. Okay, else we can use a shortcut called Control R. Okay, so the first step is we need to take a component. Okay, I have taken all the required components. Okay, so then we have to give a connection between those components. Yes, I have given a connection. Okay, next step is I have to provide input for this voltage divider circuit. So input, again, it is a source. So I'll go to place source icon. Okay, I'm going to select place source. I'm going to select a power source, and then I'm going to choose DC power. Okay, as of now, I'm going to use a DC power only. So let me choose DC power and let me click OK. Yes, so I have taken a DC power. Then with ground, else it will throw an error. Okay, so fine. So in this, you can able to see by default, our power source is been configured with 12 volt, right? If you want to change, okay, if you want to change the input voltage, what you're supposed to do is just double click. Okay, we just need to double click. Here we can able to vary the voltage. For example, let me specify as 25 volt. Okay, now the source will generate a 25 volt DC power. Okay, so now I'm just going to give a connection. So just to give a connection, move your mouse pointer towards the node. Okay, and once you move your mouse near the node, right, it will be the icon will be changing as a bulleting point. Okay, initially normally my mouse, right, it will look like a normal mouse icon. Okay, once I move my mouse near any connecting node, it will be look like a bulleting icon. So after once it is changed as bulleting icon, we can do left click and then we can connect to our resistor. Okay, once it changed as bulleting icon, right, we can right click and we can connect to our resistor. Okay, and the same way I'll be closing the circuit also. Okay, so I have closed the circuit. Okay, and the next I must need to close the ground connection. So ground I'll be connecting in the bottom. Okay, so fine. So we have a source. For voltage divider, I have taken my, like you can able to see the resistor value which I have taken is 1 kilo ohm and 100 ohm. Okay, its ratio is actually 1:10, right? So the voltage divided also it will be in the it is like 1:10 ratio, which means among one resistor we will be getting 2.5 volt and another voltage will be getting 22.5 volt. Okay, so that is how the voltage will be divided among this resistor. The reason is we have used a two different resistor rating. Okay, so before running the our simulation, we need to measure a voltage across both the resistors, right? So we have several options to measure a voltage. First one is we can use a multimeter. Okay, so just a minute, where exactly it is? Yeah, the first one. Okay, you can able to see multimeter, right? I can take, so I can take n number of multimeter. That is not a problem. Okay, so you can take n number of multimeters. So even this instrument also can be rotated. Okay, so I can just press Control R. So even our instruments also can be rotated. So this I'm going to connect parallel to the resistor 1. Okay, so this instrument I'm going to connect parallel to the two. Okay, so that we can able to measure a voltage drop across both the resistors. Okay, so yes, so we have a circuit. For the circuit, we have an input. To measure the output, we have a multimeter. So just double click and we'll set what we are going to measure. Okay, we are going to measure voltage and our circuit design. Okay, so now we can directly run our simulation and we can able to see our output. So I'll just come to the simulation toolbar. Okay, so here you can able to see we have a run button, right? We can able to see among across R2 resistor, the voltage drop was around 2.273, and across resistor 1, like 1 kilo ohm resistor, the voltage drop is 22.727. Okay, so now the voltage drop is different. The reason is we have used two different rating. Okay, instead Instead, what I can do is I'm going to place a same resistor value, like both. If I'm going to place 100 ohm, my input voltage will be exactly divided as half. Okay, so I'm providing 25 voltage across two resistor. Will be getting a 12.5 and 12.5. Okay, so I have developed this just so that you can easily understand the environment of the multisim. Okay, so this is one way to measure voltage using an multimeter. Okay, apart from this, okay, so I can just stop. Okay, so if you want to measure a voltage, this is one way. Okay, else what we can do is we can set up probe. Okay, so we can set up probe. For example, while you're running your simulation itself. Okay, now you can able to see my simulation is running. After running a simulation, you're getting to know that you have not connected any display to measure a voltage. Okay, in those cases, what you can do is here you can able to see there are probes. Okay, so these are all different probes to voltage, current, and watts. Okay, so you can directly take this and you can connect it over here. Okay, so here you can able to see we are getting 12.5. So even here, it is connected to ground. Okay, so we can easily measure a voltage at that point. Okay, so this probe, right, it will be using only a single point. Okay, instead of this, if you use a 2-point probe, we can actually measure the voltage across this resistor. Okay, so this will be calling as 2-point probe. Okay, like this probe will be having a plus and minus terminal. Okay, so now we are measuring a voltage across the resistor. Okay, it will just display the value. Okay, so if you want to see the voltage or current or watts at any place of your circuit, okay, at any place of your circuit while your simulation running, what you can do is you can simply make use of this probe to measure it. Okay, instead of going for instrument. Okay, if you want to view the value while your simulation running, right, you can simply make use of this probe and you can easily visualize those values. Okay, so this is another way. Okay, so this is another way to measure a voltage. Okay, and we have another method that is actually using oscilloscope, right? So we know using an oscilloscope also we can measure. Like I'll be moving to a different circuit. Okay, instead of using the same circuit, but I can show you those stuffs within another circuit. Okay, so this is about our multisim environment. Okay, so if anyone have any doubt, you can just topic. If anyone have any queries, right, you can just ask, or you can use a chat box also. Okay, you can make use of the chat box to raise your queries. Okay, so fine. So it's okay. So yes. So this is about simulating a simple circuit in a multisim. Okay. So now let me move to a next circuit.
Hello.
Yes,
Excellent,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
Here, what is meant by PR1, sir?
That is probe 1, sir. PR1 is nothing but probe 1. Like if I take another probe, okay, it will be displaying as PR2. Like that PR indicates probe 1 and probe 2. Okay, so we have placed probe, right? That is what actually it indicates.
Sir, it is available in a component bar, no, sir?
No, sir.
From where we can choose this PR?
This one. Okay, this is actually a probe toolbar. Okay, this is component toolbar. The leftmost one is a component toolbar, and this is a probe toolbar.
Approx.
Yes, probe.
Okay, okay.
Okay, probe toolbar.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So yes, let me move to the next circuit. Okay, the next circuit, what we are going to do is first we'll develop the circuit in multisim. Okay, next, okay, after that, I'm going to connect my hardware. Okay, I'm going to connect my hardware. We are going to compare the simulation output with a real-time circuit. Okay, we are going to compare the real simulation circuit with a real-time circuit. Okay, so I'll just create a new design. Okay, I'm going to design a blank environment. Okay, so yes, so now I have created a new multisim environment to design my simulation. Okay, so now I'm going to design for a simple converter. Okay, so I'm going to design for a simple converter like AC to a DC converter. Okay, so for that we need a source. Okay, usually if it is an AC to DC converter, the components will be like we'll be having a transformer to step down the voltage. Then we'll be using like half way or full way, right? Based on that, we'll be using a different components, right? So I don't want to make a complex circuit. Okay, I'm going to make it as a very simple, like we can develop like this also. Okay, so I can just show you. So we can develop our circuit like this, like we can have a AC source, we can use a transformer, okay, to step down. Then we can make use of a diode and resistor to see the output. Okay, even this is possible. Okay, instead what I can do is, so what is the use of this transformer? It is just to step down the voltage, right? So instead of using this transformer, we can directly make use of very less voltage, like we can use some 10 volt, okay, 10 volt RMS we can make use of, and we can convert our AC into DC. Okay, even that is possible. Okay, so now I'm not going to take this transformer. The reason is in my actual circuit, okay, I don't have a transformer and I don't have a 120 volt RMS input. Okay, maximum with my hardware. Okay, yesterday you worked on a DAC hardware, right? Maximum we can able to generate only 10 volt. Okay, so maximum we can able to generate only a 10 volt. So that is the reason as of now I'm avoiding this transformer part and 120 volt RMS. Okay, even if we use this circuit, we'll be getting the output. Better what I can do is, as of now, initially I'll design the circuit. Okay, initially I'll design the circuit. Once we move with hardware, right, I'll remove this transformer and a source, and I'll replace with a low rated source. Okay, so fine. And if you run, right, this is how our output will be getting. Okay, so now these are the components which you are going to take, and I don't have the same rating, I have a different rating. I'm going to use those ratings. Okay, so let me minimize it. So first we'll take the components. Okay, we need a diode and a resistor and a capacitor. So the resistor, the actual diode which I have is 1N4007. Okay, so I'm going to use that diode here. Okay, so I can go to component toolbar. Okay, so this is a component toolbar. From here we can take the component else. Okay, so you don't want to take a component from here. If you ask me whether we have any other option, yes, we have an option. Like we can go to place. Okay, we can go to place. Here we have an option for a component. Okay, place. Here we'll be having an option for component. I can select a component. Source, I can choose it as a diode. I can go for diode, and I need 1N4007, right? I can simply search it. Okay, 1N4007, and I'm going to use general purpose diode. Okay, GP indicates general purpose diode. Okay, I'm going to choose 1N4007 GP diode. GP indicates general purpose diode. Okay, so let me take this and I'll place it over here. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Yes, so we have taken our diode. Okay, so next let me check what is the resistor value I have. And the actual resistor which I have is a rating of 1 kilo ohm. So I'll take 1 kilo ohm resistor over here. So I'll go to basic and I can go to resistor component. I'll choose 1K and I can click enter. Okay, so I have taken 1 kilo ohm resistor and capacitor. I have 1 microfarad. Okay, so the actual capacitor which I have is 1 microfarad. So I can go to capacitor. Yeah, so already 1 micro is selected. I can simply click OK and I can put it over here. Yes. So these are all the components which I have also in for actual circuit. So that is the reason I have selected this rating. Okay. So I have all these 3 components with me, so I can design the actual circuit also. Okay. So we have taken all the components like diode, resistor, and capacitor. Resistor will act as a load, and capacitor will act as a filter. Okay. So here I need to rotate my resistor and a capacitor, so I can directly use a shortcut called Control R. Okay. The same thing I'll do for capacitor also. Yes, so now I can give a connection here. Okay, so next what we're supposed to do is we have to take a AC power source, right? So I can go to place, components, group, I need to change it as source, family, power source, and AC power. I can just click OK. Can just click close, and then we need a ground also. Let me take ground. Okay, so I have taken ground also. Okay, so in this you can able to see my voltage source rating is configured as 120 volt RMS and 60 hertz. Okay, the reason why we are getting this as a default rating is this tool, right? It is developed by a national instrument which is in US. Okay, so in US this is the rating. Okay, the rating of an AC supply. That is the reason we are getting a default value as 120 volt VRMS and 60 hertz. Okay, so this is the actual commercial voltage supply in US. Okay, so that is the reason they are using this value as a default value. Okay, as of now, just we are going to test it, right? So I'm going to use 10 volt RMS and 50 hertz supply. Okay, frequency I'm going to make it as 50 hertz, and now I can provide a connection. Okay, so I can connect it over here. Ground I can connect. Okay, so fine. So for source, in this we are using an AC source. Then we have a diode, resistor, and capacitor for converting from DC to AC. Okay, so now we need to see the output, final output, right? For that, what we can do is we can make use of oscilloscope. Okay, now I want to see my output of my circuit as waveform. To do that, I'm gonna take an oscilloscope. Okay, so if I want to take oscilloscope, I must come for virtual instrument toolbar, which is in a right side. Okay, so here, 1 second. Yeah, here we have our oscilloscope. Let me take this oscilloscope and I can connect it over here. Okay, I can just place it over here. This is actually 2-channel oscilloscope. Okay, so this is a 2-channel oscilloscope. In the same way, we have 4-channel oscilloscope also. Okay, if you want to see more than a 2-channel, we can go for 4-channel oscilloscope. In that, we can visualize 4 like we can visualize 4 different signals. Okay, so for this circuit, 2-channel oscilloscope, like our normal oscilloscope, is enough. Okay, so I'm going to make use of it. So here we have 2 channels. Okay, we have an input to connect 2 channel A and B. So in an A channel, okay, I'm going to connect my input. So before that, I'll just rotate this, Control R. Okay, so for every channel you can able to see plus and minus terminal. Okay, plus should be connected to source. So plus, I can connect it over here. Okay, my source. And the same way, plus of my B channel, I'm going to connect to the capacitor, and minus I'm going to connect over here. And for my source also, okay, for my source also, the reference, it is going to at this end at this point, right? So I can make use of, I can connect my reference in the same point. Okay, it will not be a problem. Okay, so we have given a connection. So now what we can do is we can run our simulation and we can see the output of the circuit. Okay, in channel A, okay, in channel A we'll be getting the input signal, and in channel B we'll be getting the output signal. Okay, we'll just run and we see the output. We double tap. Actually we are getting the output. Okay, what I can do is I can just change the voltage scale. Yes, here I can able to see actually both are coming as a red color. That is the problem, we can't able to differentiate it. I'll just try to reverse it. Yeah, so I can provide some. Yeah, now we can able to see the bottom one is actually our input AC signal, and the top one is actually the rectified signal, which gives only the a positive up cycle. Okay, if I increase the capacitor value, right, we can able to filter this ripple also. Okay, so as of now we are getting the ripple DC. Okay, so if you want to reduce this ripple, we have to choose a proper resistor and capacitor value. As of now, okay, as of now, I have a resistor and capacitor with this rating only. Okay, so that is the reason for simulation also I use the same rating. If you want, you can try with some other rating which avoids the maximum ripple. Okay, so in this, okay, so initially what happens is we got confusion, like it is displaying only single waveform when y value is 0, because both are having a same color. Okay, both signals are having the same color. We can't able to differentiate, right? So if you want to change the, just you need to change the color of the wire which you connected to it. Okay, in this you can able to see for A plus and B plus, for both the terminal the wire color is red, right? So that is the reason in our oscilloscope also we are getting our input as red. Okay, so if I change any one of the color, for example my output signal, I'll just right click on this wire, color. Okay, right click, segment color. Here you can choose any color. Okay, for as of now let me choose blue and I'll click OK. So now we can able to see my rectified signal output is connected to B and its color is a blue color, right? So now if you run and if I open the oscilloscope, you can able to see my input signal will come in red and rectified signal will come in a blue color. Okay, so in this way, if you want to differentiate a signal with a different colors, just you need to change the color of a wire so that we can able to change it. Okay, so let me stop. Okay, so I have stopped as of now. Okay, so this is as of now whatever we have seen, right? It is actually simulation with corresponds to only with a multisim. Okay, whatever we have, we are going to see a simulation with hardware. Okay, so simulation with hardware in the sense a simulation we can run, like the same circuit can be tested in a simulation, and the same way for that, what is supposed to do is we have to design a new simulation environment along with a hardware. Okay, so we have to create a new simulation environment along with a hardware enabled. Okay, so before we are moving to that, if you have anything to ask, okay, so you can just ask now. If you have anything to ask, right, just feel free to ask. And let me once, I'll just check on chat also. Okay, so hope everything is fine. Okay, so now we are getting into a hardware simulation. Okay, so that we'll be calling as, okay, so this is the last one. Okay, so we'll get into this later. Okay, so as of now, we are going to see a hardware simulation. Okay, so for that, okay, first we need to create again a new environment. Okay, so file, when I go to new, I should not create a blank environment. Okay, I should not create a blank design. I should choose some hardware. Okay, like these are all different hardwares for which we can create a simulated environment. Okay, like LVIS 1, LVIS 2, DAC, and then PLD. Okay, these are all different hardwares. Okay, for which we can able to create a design from Multisim. Okay, now actually I have a DAC hardware. Okay, I can just show you the hardware. Just a minute.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello. No, sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Audible, sir.
Audible.
Hello.
Sir, you are audible.
Now it is audible, sir. Audible.
Okay, so can someone speak? I don't know whether my speaker is working now. Just let me
Hello. Sir, now audible, sir. Are you hearing?
test it. Okay, fine. So I have connected the camera, so it automatic. I have connected the camera, so automatically the default device has been changed. That is the issue, I think so. So I have changed the device.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Sir, what is meant by EL, VL, VIS?
LVIS.
Means what, sir?
That is actually the hardware names are like MyDAC. So LVIS is one of the hardware name from National Instruments. So mostly this hardware, right? It is completely for educational purpose. these hardware like LEDs or MIDAC, right? These two is completely meant for education purpose.
Okay, okay.
There
Sir,
will
one more.
be like I can show
Sir,
you the,
sir.
yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Tell me.
Sir, what is the main difference between hardware simulation and software simulation, sir? I could not understand.
Okay, so whatever we see now, right, there is actually a software simulation and
Okay,
hardware simulation in the sense will be having a simulation like a software simulation. Okay, along with that, we'll have our actual circuit. Okay, so here I can just show you. Just give me a minute. I can just enable the camera. Okay, so here you can able to see I have a hardware. Okay, along with the hardware, I have all the components. Okay, so I have all the components required for the circuit design. So what I'll be doing is I'll be designing or I'll be creating a circuit, real circuit, okay, with this hardware. And the same way, okay, I can just pin this one so that it will be visible. Just a minute. Yeah. So here I have a hardware and I have all the components. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll be making the same circuit in real world also. Okay, so I'll be designing the circuit in real world, and the same way we'll be having a circuit in simulation. So what we can do is once I run my simulation, it will run my simulation code. Okay, it will execute my simulation program, and the same way it will provide input to this components also. Okay, so that we can easily compare. Okay, we can easily compare the simulation output and the real circuit output. Okay, but if you want to do this with any other tool, right, what we're supposed to do is for simulation we'll be using a separate tool. To test an actual circuit we have to go for any other tool. That is not required when it comes to this multisim. The reason is with multisim we can easily simulate this hardware. Like this is NI MIDAC hardware. Okay, so which here you can able to see, right, among which we listed. This is NI MIDAC. So this is an NI MIDAC hardware. This I can simulate. Okay, or I can say this I can able to access in my multisim environment. So whatever the connection I'm going to give along with this component, right, the same connection I'm going to give in my simulation environment also. So in my simulation we are going to test the response of simulated circuit. Okay, along with this hardware and this component we are going to test the response of actual circuit in a single software. We are going to compare the response of simulation circuit and actual circuit. Okay, so this is what hardware simulation in the sense. Okay, we can run both simulation as well as the actual circuit testing, and we can able to compare the simulation output and the actual circuit output in a single window. Are you clear now, sir?
yes, sir.
Yes. So once I complete everything, right, you will be getting a better idea. Okay, so yes. Yeah, so here I have my components. Okay, later I'll show you the hardware connection. First we'll complete the connection in multisim. Okay, so I'm just going to turn off the camera as of now. Okay, so yes, let us come back to our multisim. Okay, our design. Okay, so as I already told you, now we are going to use MIDAC design. Okay, so here we should not choose blank. Okay, we should choose NI MIDAC design. Only then we can able to design it. Okay, so let me going. I'm going to select it and let me create. Click on create. Okay, so I'm just going to click on create. So now a few blocks will be added by default in your new circuit design environment. Okay, so it will take some time to create. Let it create. Yeah. So if you create an environment for any hardware, right, in your left hand side, okay, left hand side of your design tool, will be getting some block like this. Okay, so this is nothing but we are getting a terminals which is available in a hardware. I can just show you. In this, you can able to see the terminals are like minus 15 volt, plus 15, analog output 0, 1, analog input 0, 1, then digital input, those stuffs, right? The same thing I can show you in a hardware also. Okay, I can just come back and let me enable the camera. So I'll just focus it. Just a minute. Actually, it is inverter. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so here it is coming as an inverted wave, but the terminals are same. Okay, so whatever we are getting in simulation, right, the same thing we are getting. So this is actually minus 15 plus 15, 0, 1, like output 0, output 1, then input 0, input 1, and these are all DIOs, and finally we have 5 volt. Okay, the same terminals, like in the hardware, what are the terminals we have, right? The same terminals we can able to get in our simulation also. Okay, so instead of using the simulated instruments, like in the left side, sorry, right side, we have simulated instruments, right? Instead of using those simulated instruments, we are going to use a hardware instruments. And then we have dynamic signal analyzer, oscilloscope. Okay, so instead of using a simulated instruments, we are going to use an instrument which is available in a hardware. Okay, so yes, let us proceed with the connection. So first we'll take the components which we require to design our low pass filter circuit. Okay, so I'm going to place component. So as of, we don't need any source. Okay, we just need a component. So I'll go to basic. We need 1 microfarad, and we need a resistor. My resistor rating is okay. Yes. Then I need a diode. So I'll go to diode, and I want 1N4007 general purpose diode. I have taken a diode. Okay, so here everything is fine. Let me arrange it properly, and I can rotate the components. Okay, so Control R, I can give a connection over here. Yes, so only circuit will be designed over here. Okay, input and output we are going to give from our MyDAC simulated MyDAC block. Okay, first what I supposed to do is I have to give input for my diode. Okay, I have to give sine input, correct? So to do that, what we supposed to do is first we need to enable this function generator. You can able to see as of now, for every instrument there is a cross mark. Okay, you can able to see in every instrument there is a cross block. It indicates these instruments are disabled. Okay, so as of now, all this instrument. So to enable this instrument, just right click. Sorry. Okay, so it is enabled. You can able to see now it is enabled. Okay, so this function generator, right, you can able to see it generates a output voltage from AI0. Okay, so this generates output voltage from AI0. Able to see the signal route. It's selected as AI0, which indicates it is going to generate a output signal from AI0. So the signal whatever it generates, right, that AI0 signal I have connected to my diode. Okay,
Sir, what is meaning of AI0, sir?
AI0 sorry, AO0, sir, sorry. AO0 means analog output 0. So this is AO0 means analog output channel 0.
Okay.
Okay, AI means analog input. If you want to acquire something, we'll be using analog input 0 or analog input 1. So now I need to generate a signal. So we are using analog output AO0. Okay, so yes, so through this 0 channel, we are generating the signal, we are connecting to the diode. Okay, next, I want to measure the rectified signal, right? The output I'll be getting from these 2 points here and here, right? So to measure it, we need to use an oscilloscope. Okay, so first what I need to do is I need to enable the oscilloscope. Okay, it is an oscilloscope. You can able to see even oscilloscope is disabled. Okay, now you can able to see my oscilloscope also enabled. Okay, there is no cross mark near my oscilloscope. It indicates my oscilloscope also enabled. Okay, so if I double click on this oscilloscope, you can able to see it can able to acquire a 2 channel data, channel 0 and channel 1. Okay, so it can able to acquire a 2 channel data, that is channel 0 and channel 1. For channel 0, if I want to acquire a data from channel 0, I have to give a connection on analog input 0. Okay, if you want to make use of channel 1 to acquire data, I need to give a connection on analog input 1. Okay, so already the terminals are, it's been already selected. Okay, so now I'm going to use channel 0 only. Okay, I'm going to use channel 0 only, which means I have to connect my output signal to analog input 0. Okay, so here just I'll move this little up and I'll zoom it a little bit, zoom it. Okay, so here we have, yeah, better I can bring this down a little bit. Yeah, this would be fine. Yes, so in this you can able to see here we have analog input. So this is actually analog input block. Okay, so this is 0 plus terminal and capacitor, and 0 minus should be connect at this point. Okay, 0 minus should connect at this point. So as of now it is not required. Why? Because I don't want to connect it here. Instead, if I connect here, right, even that is same. Okay, so I can take 0 minus, I can directly connect it over here. Okay, so even this is similar as we are connecting this point, because this uh, this one is actually connected to the ground, right? We can directly connect like this also. Okay, so now I'll just run and I'll show you without a hardware. Okay, so For that, I just need to open these two blocks, like my function generator and oscilloscope, and I can run this. And here we can able to see I'm getting my out. Okay, we are getting only the positive obstacle, which means it is an rectified output. Okay, and here you can able to identify the peak to peak amplitude. Okay, I have provided as 8. Okay, which means minus 4 to plus 4. Okay, so that indicates peak to peak. Okay, so here it is measuring only the positive of, so I'm getting around 3.45. Okay, and my signal frequency I have specified as 100. Even in my oscilloscope, here you can able to see it is displaying my frequency, and my frequency now it is displaying only my simulation output. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the same connection in my hardware. We are going to compare the simulation output along with the actual hardware output. Okay, so I'll stop this. So the same connection whatever I have given, right, I'm going to give for my hardware also. So I can close this and I can come here, and I have to connect the hardware. So just give me a minute. I'll just connect the camera and the hardware. Okay, so now let me enable the camera. Okay, so here we have our hardware. Just a minute, if possible, I'll just change the orientation. Just give me a minute. The camera, it is coming as an inverted way. I'll try to rotate it. And I think so it is not coming. Okay, so fine. So better I'll give connection in this way only. Okay, so I can show. Yes, first let me connect all the components. Okay, I can move this a little bit. Okay, first I'm going diode first. Okay, then along with in series with diode we have to connect capacitor and resistor, and capacitor and resistor, right, should be connected in a parallel way. So I can give a connection like this. Okay, so yes, in this point you can able to see. So I'm trying to replicate the same circuit. So in this, so the cathode point of our diode, right? And cathode point of our diode and resistor, one end of the resistor and one end of the capacitor. Everything is connected at the same point, okay? Even here you can able to see the same thing. If I come to multi-sim, even here you can able to see a diode, resistor and capacitor. Everything will be connected at the same point, okay? And in the bottom you can able to see resistor and capacitor are short circuited, okay? Even here the other end, okay? So the other end, the resistor and capacitor I have connected in the same lane, okay? So now I just need to connect this circuit to my hardware. So first we'll provide an input, okay? So for input I have to take analog input 0. Okay, so here this red color wire, you can able to see it is from analog input 0. This I'm going to connect to diode. Okay, so this I have connected to a diode, and then I'm going to measure my signal with analog input 0. So analog input 0 is actually this green color wire. Okay, you can able to see this green color wire is actually analog input 0. This I need to connect between like the junction between a diode and resistor. Okay, so now this green color wire also have connected exactly where my resistor, capacitor and diode, everything is get connected. Okay, and then just we need to connect 0, minus and ground. Okay, so I have given two connection with respect to hardware. Like here you can able to see totally we have only 4 terminals. Like as of now we have connected 0, okay, and we have connected 0 plus, and 0 minus and analog ground should be connected to a resistor end, right? So other end of the resistor and capacitor. So let me come back over here. Okay, so in this, so this black color wire is actually 0 minus. Okay, black color wire I have connected to 0 minus. This I can connect at the one end. And a capacitor, and the same way analog ground also should be connected to the same point. Okay, so I have connected, I have given every connection. Okay, whatever the connection I have in my simulation, right? The same connection I have given in my actual circuit also. Okay, so nothing different, both are same. Okay, so 1 second, there is some chat. Okay, whether from my side whether it is disconnecting, I'm not sure. Just tell me whether you people are getting an uninterrupted communication from my side.
Sir, we are getting
Okay,
correct communication.
Okay, fine then. Okay, so yes, so we have made a connection over here. Okay, so now what we can do is this one, these connections is to test our actual circuit. Okay, whatever we made, right? With this we can test our actual circuit, and here we have made a simulated connection, right? With this we can run a simulated test. Okay, so basically we know, right, if you are designing some circuit, okay, for specific application, like you are designing your own converter, okay, before you are making your actual circuit, what we'll do first, we'll do the testing with simulation, Then we'll design the same circuit and we'll see the response and we'll compare it, right? So instead of doing that, okay, we can design a circuit in multisim and we can design the actual circuit using this window. Okay, using this tool we can compare, okay, we can compare simulation as well as the actual circuit output in a single window. Okay, I'll just show you now. So I have an function generator. Let me open oscilloscope 2. Okay, so now I have an option to choose my, okay, I don't know which is the actual hardware. Okay, sorry, I have not connected my hardware yet. Okay, so I can just show you. So here we have a USB terminal. Okay, so here you can able to see from the hardware there is a USB output, right? That now I'm going to connect to my system. Okay, so this USB I'm going to connect to my system. Before it was showing only 3 devices, right? Once I connect this, it will show one more device. Yes, now my MIDAC. Okay, so now if I select on device, let me close and I'll open it. Okay, it is not connecting properly, it seems. Okay, so just give me a minute, I'll connect it again. Yeah, so now double tap. Okay, so here I can able to identify MIDAC 1. Okay, and the same way, let me take I can run my simulation. And here, even here I have to run it. Output from simulation, but there is no output from real hardware. Once let me check. Yeah, so we are getting it. So mostly I'm gonna press the button. Okay, so just a minute, I'll just press stop and I'll run this again. Okay, so first we have to run the simulation. Yes, now simulation is running in the background. Now we can able to see the dotted line is moving, right? So that indicates now we are running the simulation part. Okay, so once this is done, okay, once the simulation part is over, we can make this stop. I can change it to actual hardware. The device I need to choose actual hardware. Now if I run this, I'll be getting the output of my actual hardware. So this now whichever it is moving, right, that is the real output. You can able to see the difference between the output of the actual result and the simulated result. Okay, the simulated result always it will be an ideal one. Okay, the simulation result, right, always it will be ideal one. So this is how we can easily compare the simulation output and actual circuit output. Okay, so if you want to do this, you must need a hardware. Okay, so if you want to do this right, we must need a hardware. Only then we can able to do these kind of analysis, like comparing your simulation output with your actual output. I'm not sure what is the capacitor value I have used. Maybe that may be the problem for this output. Okay, the resistor. 1 second, I'll just check. What was the cap? Actually, now I removed the capacitor. That is the reason we are getting an output like this. Okay, so I can't able to find the value. Okay, so let it be. Okay, so either maybe loose connection or something might be like that. Okay, so that is the reason we are getting a different output. But this is how we have to give a connection. Like this is how we have to compare our simulation output, simulated circuit output with your actual circuit output. So for comparing, right, you don't need to compare manually. Okay, so you can make use of the single tool to compare your simulation with your actual circuit. Okay, so this is a simple basic one. Okay, whatever we have seen now, right, it is one of the a simple one, like simple function generator and oscilloscope. Apart from this, we can able to do some analysis loss also, like we can use a Bode analyzer. With the help of Bode analyzer, right, we can test what is this filter circuits, like half wave or full wave circuit. Like we can provide an input with a different frequency and we can see what is the response. That is more or less like AC sweep analysis. Okay, in AC sweep analysis, what we'll do, we'll be having a constant voltage, constant AC voltage, but we'll just vary the frequency of our input, right? The same thing can be done with a Bode analyzer. Those stuffs will be used for test the filters, like low pass filter or high pass filter. Okay, so we'll see how to do that. Okay, before that, if people have anything to ask with respect to this comparing hardware simulation, hardware circuit design with the simulation, you can just raise your queries. If you have anything to ask regarding this comparison, right, you can just ask now. So okay, fine then. Let me move to the next circuit, which with which we'll be using a Bode analyzer. Okay, so I'm going to choose File, New, NI, MyDAC design. So even the next one, the Bode analyzer, right, we'll be testing. Okay, we'll be testing both what to say, simulation as well as the actual response. Okay, so both you are going to test now. So let me click create. So we know for filter, we just need a resistor and a capacitor. Okay, that will be enough. Based on the resistor and a capacitor value, the cutoff frequency of our filter will be varying. Okay, so just we'll start designing it. So now we'll get to know what is actually my resistor and capacitor value. Okay, so yes, so for our low pass filter or high pass filter, we just need a resistor and a capacitor. Okay, so first if we put a resistor and then if we put a capacitor, right, that will be considered as what to say, low pass filter. And if you replace the component, that will be considered as a high pass filter circuit. Okay, so first we'll start with a low pass filter circuit. So I'm going to take resistor, 1 kilo ohm resistor. Let me place it over here. Okay, then capacitor. Once I'll try to identify what is the capacitor value. I'm not sure whether I am using a proper 1 microfarad only. Okay, yes, and this should be connected with respect to parallel. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate it. Okay, so now I can just give the connection. Okay, so this should be connected to ground. Okay, so for Bode analyzer, okay, so here we have a Bode analyzer. If I open this, okay, my input signal, whatever the input I give, right, that I need to measure with analog input 0. So I think so someone have messaged. Yeah, sure. At the end of the session, right, I'll be sharing my contact detail. You can reach me, not a problem. Or okay, better as of now, just now I'll type it. Second.
Sir,
So this is my
excellent, sir.
yes, yes, sir.
Sir, now you are connecting to that device. Now, what is that name of that device, sir?
That is MIDAC, sir. NI MIDAC.
And my DAC. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. So this
Okay.
this one can be used for generation of signal or acquisition of signal. This supports analog, digital, and counter input and output, sir.
It can generate signals,
Yes, it can generate signal.
analog and digital both, sir.
Yeah, both as well as counter. We can generate PWM signal also.
Okay, just like a function generator.
Yeah, yes. Actually, it is a combination of function generator, oscilloscope, everything, sir. Like I can just show you what all the instrument can able to access from this. These are all the different instruments. Like the
sir.
single hardware can able to do. Like the single hardware can be used as arbitrary waveform generator, Bode analyzer, digital reader writer, multimeter. Like here, 1 second, I can just show you the camera. So here we have a multimeter connectors, banana connectors. So the same
sir.
hardware can be used for multimeter also. Used as multimeter.
Okay.
And the same way, if you want to work with audio, like audio signal, we can make use of this audio in and audio out.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so
Sir,
these are all the different, yeah.
Sir, for comparing purpose, compulsory we need this one. Otherwise, we cannot compare software simulation and hardware, na, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We need this hardware. If you want to compare your actual circuit output with simulation, right? You must need this hardware. Either this one or you need a LVIS hardware. You must need any one of the hardware to compare your simulation output with an actual circuit.
Without this, we cannot compare, na, sir?
No, sir. We can't compare.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So yes. So now we are going to test this Bode analyzer. So usually this Bode analyzer, right? We'll get to know at which point, especially with respect to filters, okay? At which point we are having a more gain, okay? Or we can easily identify where, which is the cutoff frequency for our filter, okay? So those, if you want to identify those stuffs, we can easily identify with this Bode analyzer. I can just show you, okay? So I have taken the components for, as of now, I'm simulating for low pass filter. So I have taken resistor and capacitor. Okay. So first I have to give input for my signal, right? Input I'm going to give from analog output 0. Okay. Through analog output 0, I'm going to generate a signal. Okay. So through analog output 0, I'm going to generate the signal. Next, I want to compare output with an input. Okay, so in a Bode analyzer, you could able to see, if I open this, they have mentioned stimulus channel. Stimulus channel is nothing but the input channel. Okay, the input channel data I must connect to analog input 0, and response. The response of the circuit, right, that I should connect it to analog input 1. What does that mean is, whatever the signal I'm generating, right, that I need to connect to analog input 0. So this is the data which I'm generating that I should connect to analog input 0. Output will measure parallel to capacitor, right, that I should connect to channel 1. You can able to see from 1 plus I have connected to capacitor, and 0 plus as of now I have connected to my 0 itself, which means whatever the signal I generate, right, the same signal I'm going to acquire it back. Okay, and all the minus terminals, okay, like 0 minus and 1 minus, I can directly connect with ground. Okay, so from 0 minus, these are all just a reference, right? I can directly connect to ground. Okay, so we have completed a simulation part. Okay, so as of now we'll just run only the simulation part. Okay, if I run, okay, so just a minute, I'll stop and I'll open. Okay, so sorry, I forgot to enable the function generator. I need to enable this also, because function generator only will generate the signal, right? Only then we can get the data. I just forgot it. So yes, now I can run it. Yes, so better I'll change it to logarithmic scale, and let me vary the frequency. Okay, first we'll try to identify what is its cutoff frequency. So the formula to identify the cutoff frequency is 1 by 2 pi RC, right? So I'll just open a calculator. So first we'll identify what exactly its cutoff frequency. Okay. Okay, so 1 divided by, okay, so better first I'll calculate 2 pi RC. 2 into 3.14, and resistor value is 1K. 1000 into 0.23451 is a 1 micro. It's equal to, then let me take a reciprocal of it. Okay, so its cutoff frequency is 159. Okay, so there is a cutoff frequency. So better, instead of starting from 100 hertz, okay, so in this, instead of starting from 100 hertz, okay, so here we have to specify the starting frequency, ending frequency, all those stuffs. Okay, so I'll start from 0 hertz, and for each step let me specify some 20 steps for every decade. Okay, every decade in the sense 0 to 1 will be one decade, then 1 to 10 will be another decade, 1 to 100 will be another decade. Okay, so for every decade we must need to specify the step. So let me specify 20 steps, and now I can run it. We can identify now. Yes, so now I can take a cursor.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, here analog input 1 plus 1 minus 0 plus 0 minus is there, no, sir?
Yes, sir.
1 plus means what, sir? Positive 1 volt, huh?
Actually, everything is minus 10 to plus 10 volts, sir.
Okay, minus 10 volts to plus 10 volts.
Plus 10 volt, yeah. So I'll make you clear. Okay, so one second, I can't able to magnify it. One second. So in this, let me make you people very clear. This is analog output, AO. So
Okay.
AO will used to generate a signal, which means from the hardware, we are going to take out a signal in a simple way. AO will act as function generator.
Okay.
Okay, AO will act as function generator, which has two channel 0 and 1, which can able to generate -10 to +10 volt.
Okay.
Okay, and this AI, which means input. So AI channel will work similar as oscilloscope. Okay, AI means which works similar as oscilloscope. Even it has two channel 0 and 1. So in this
Channel.
circuit, yeah, in this circuit connection, what we have done is using analog output 0, we are going to generate a signal with different frequencies. Okay, through this 0 terminal, okay, we are going to generate a signal with different frequencies. Every frequency, like what are the frequency we needed, right? That we are specifying here. We are saying that the signal starting frequency should be 1 and ending frequency should be 10K, 10,000. Okay, and for that, this will generate my signal. Okay, it will generate signal with different frequencies, and for every input we are measuring the output and we are calculating the gain. So to calculate the gain, we have to find the difference between the input and output, right? With that, we will be calculating the gain. So with the help of gain, we can easily identify what is the cutoff frequency. Okay, so in this you can able to see. So gain, the cutoff frequency is actually 150 change. Okay, 158 change. Okay, if I move my point, so around 158, you can able to see my gain is 0.71. Okay, so that is actually my cutoff frequency. So before that, okay, my gain is 0. Okay, after this frequency, okay, after my 158 frequency, at this point you can able to see my gain is stopped decreasing. Okay, if you want me to show in a linear scale, okay, I can show you. Okay, till this point you can able to see my gain is nearly 1. Okay, which means my output and my input ratio, right, it is nearly 1. Once the frequency increases, which means once I increase my frequency beyond my cutoff frequency, my output gain, which means my output voltage will start decreasing. Okay, so my cutoff frequency is 158, the point at which my gain is 0.7. Okay, so that is actually the cutoff frequency range. Okay, after this you can able to see my my gain is started decreasing. Okay, so this is the response of my simulated circuit. Okay, if you want to test with the actual circuit, I just need to change the connection. Just I'll do the change in connection. Okay, we can see the response of real data also. Okay, so the same connection, whatever I have given here, right, the same thing I'm going to do with actual hardware also. Like I'm going to use the resistor, capacitor, the same circuit connection I'm going to give. Okay, so yes, let me open the camera. Okay, I'll remove the old connection. So this connection, I'm going to remove it. Okay, I just need a resistor first. Okay, so I'm going to take a resistor. Then I'm going to connect a capacitor in series with a resistor. Okay, so I have taken just resistor and capacitor. Okay, in my connection, you have noticed analog output 0. Okay, so this red color wire is actually analog output 0. This has been connected to resistor. Okay, and the same way analog output analog input 0 plus also connected to the same point. Okay, then analog input 1 plus. Okay, so this blue color wire is analog input 1 plus. Okay, you can able to see in the top, you can able to see the label that is analog input 1 plus. Analog input 1 plus is actually connected between resistor and capacitor. I can show here. Okay, this 1 plus you can able to see it is connected between resistor and a capacitor. So this blue color wire I have to connect between resistor and capacitor where those 2 points get junctioned. Okay, and then the remaining all are ground. Okay, so 1 plus I can connect to the capacitor point, 0 plus also I can connect to capacitor point, and then ground also I can connect to the point at the other end of capacitor. Okay, so yes, I have given the actual circuit. So now we can just check the response. Okay, so I have given a connection here. So now we are going to check the response. Okay, so let me open the circuit. Okay, so now I need to choose, instead of a simulated DAC, I need to choose my DAC. Okay, so first so here you can able to see both real data and simulated data is enabled, right? As of now, I'll disable simulated data. Okay, first we'll read the actual data. I'm going to run this. It will slowly plot. Okay, it will slowly plot the data. Yeah, so it started plotting the data. So actually it is taking some time. Okay, that's fine. So here you can able to see it is plotting each point one by one. Okay, so I don't know why it is taking more time. Maybe some other application may be running. Just let me check it once. Let me check any other application is running. Okay, fine. So it is taking some time, no problem. Let it run. Okay. Or better, what I can do is I'll just reduce the number of steps, which means instead of plotting 10 samples within this point, I'm going to plot only less number of samples. Okay, I'm going to plot only 10 samples. Okay, let me decrease it as 10, and start frequency, let me make it as 10. Okay, instead of starting from 1, I'm going to start from 10. Okay, so these are all the small changes I'm going to make. Okay, first I'll run the simulation for this, then we can go for actual one. Okay, let me complete the simulation. Yes, the simulation is over. So now I can stop this. I can choose actual hardware. Okay, so simulation I can turn off. I have to turn on the real data. I can run this. Okay. So it will slowly plot each sample. So as I already told you, this Bode analyzer will be generating a signal like input voltage, like a constant voltage, by but will be varying the frequency. Okay, first we'll generate a signal with 10 hertz. Okay, then 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 till 100. Okay, after that it will be moving to next decade. In next decade we'll be generating 100, then we'll directly go to 200, 300, like that. Okay, so just check. Yeah, so it started plotting. You can able to see it started plotting the samples. So once this is done, I can compare with the simulated data. Okay, so let this complete first. So now whatever we are plotting, right, this is the response from actual circuit. Okay, so the actual circuit response is over. Okay, now I'm going to enable the simulated data. You can able to see exactly it overlap. Okay, my real data response and my simulated data response, you can able to see exactly overlapping the other. Okay, so I can disable the real data. Okay, so both are exactly overlapping with each other. It indicates my simulation output and my actual circuit output, right? Both are same. Okay, so actually this, whatever we are seeing in a Bode analyzer, right? This is more or less similar as AC sweep analysis only. Okay, even in AC sweep analysis, we'll do the same thing. Okay, we'll generate a constant AC voltage, but will vary the frequency of that voltage source. Okay, but will vary the frequency of an voltage source and will get the data. Okay, so in this case, you can able to see until, okay, this is, as I already told you, this is a low pass filter. Sorry, have to enable cursor. Okay, you can just move it. So at 158 frequency, 158 near to it. Okay, my gain was around 0.67. Okay, actually it should be near to 0.7. So it is more or less near to it. Okay, so this low pass filter. So when the frequency is less, okay, when the frequency is less, we'll be having more gain. When the frequency is increasing, we'll be getting high gain. So if you want to understand even better, so I can just explain the same with oscilloscope and function generator with the same circuit. Okay, so instead of Bode analyzer, I can disable it. Okay, I can disable the Bode analyzer and I can open oscilloscope. Okay, so I can run this. Okay, so in this, the thing which you need to notice is green color is actually my input signal and blue color is my output signal. Okay, better I can. Okay, better I'll increase this amplitude. So we can able to understand a little better. Okay, so now frequency I have given around 100. Somewhat we are getting near to it. We are getting the amplitude. Okay, if I increase the frequency, you can able to see even now we are getting somewhat okay. Okay, if I increase beyond some value, okay, now I have given my frequency as 3 kilohertz. Okay, so now I have given my frequency as 3 kilohertz. Let me stop and run. Okay, it is taking more time. So the system is slow. There is a problem. Okay, so there is no problem with hardware. So my system, right, it is actually working very slow. Yes, better I can increase the time deviation. Yes, so now frequency I have given us 280. Now we can able to see my output amplitude is decreased. Okay, even if I increase the frequency, now the output amplitude was around RMS value is 1.4, right? So even if I increase even more, okay, now my output amplitude decreased less than 1 voltage. Okay, if my frequency is less than 150, less than my cutoff frequency, my amplitude, my output signal amplitude will match with my input signal amplitude. Okay, so I can increase the time duration. Okay, so if it is very low, there is a circuit we designed, right, low pass filter. So if this circuit, right, it will provide the signal with low frequency, and if we have any signal with higher frequency, it will try to reduce its amplitude. Okay, so that is the reason for gain we are getting a very less value, which means a gain is nothing but dividing the output with an input. Okay, so that is what actually an gain. Okay, so the same circuit we can able to analyze with function generator and oscilloscope, in which you will visualize input waveform and output waveform. Okay, So if you use a Bode analyzer, we can directly provide. So here I'm actually manually varying the frequency, right? Instead, if you use a Bode analyzer, okay, if you use a Bode analyzer, we can we can specify what is the start frequency, end frequency. With that, we can easily we can easily specify the range of frequency. Our analyzer itself can provide a variable frequency and it will measure the output and it will plot the data. Okay, so that is the difference. Okay, which is the easiest way, right? You can make use of it and you can do your run. Okay, so in this, if it is a Bode analyzer, you'll actually compare with gain. Okay, if it is function generator or oscilloscope, we'll be comparing it with signals. Okay, so that is the basic difference between oscilloscope and a Bode analyzer. Okay, so yes, in this, if people have any doubt, can just ask. You can use a chat box and you can ask. Okay, and
Excellent, sir.
yeah, yes, sir.
Sir, in just to go to previous slide, sir. Previous slide. In the left side, A0, A1, I didn't get that one, sir. Once, please explain that.
Okay, so AI. Okay,
That one.
this
That
is
one.
AI, AO, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so which means analog input and analog output.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make you clear. Okay, so in this one, right, this hardware, right, you can use for student projects or research purpose. Okay, so using this hardware, we can generate a signal and we can able to acquire a signal. Both is possible. So if you want to generate a signal, okay, if you want to make use of this hardware as function generator, we'll be using AO, which means analog output. Okay, AO, which means analog output. If you use AO, this hardware will act as function generator. With that, we can able to generate sine, square, or user defined signal using a dynamic signal analyzer, right? With that, we can able to generate a different signal and we can able to analyze multiple signals also. Like with a single analyzer, we can able to generate sine and like AC as well as DC data. Okay, so AO, which means it's completely for generation purpose. From your hardware, if you want to take out any data, okay, we can use AO. AI means if you want to measure any signal, okay, if you want to measure any analog signal, we can make use of this AI. For example, let us consider some sensor like IR sensor. Okay, the IR sensor will give analog output. Okay, if you want to measure the output, okay, then we can use this AI channel, or you have some current sensor. Okay, if you want to measure that current sensor data, you can make use of this analog input. Okay, so AI is meant for acquisition. If you want to acquire anything, we'll be using AI. If you want to generate some signal, we'll be using AO, analog output. Clear, sir?
Clear, sir. Next, 0 plus 0 minus.
Okay, so 0 plus 0 minus 1 plus 1 minus is like for measuring the signal, sir. For example, let me make you clear. We have a battery. Let us consider we have a battery. In a battery, we'll be having plus terminal and minus terminal, right? So if you want to measure the potential difference, I want to measure between plus and minus, correct? So in a simple way, let me take a source, power source, DC power source. Okay, it has, sorry, let me move a little bit. Okay, and I can zoom this. Okay, so here let us consider this as a battery. This is plus terminal and minus terminal. Okay, or else we can compare with multimeter. In a multimeter, if you want to measure a voltage, we'll be having two connector, red color connector and black color connector, right? So if you want to measure a voltage, I must need to use both a red color connector and a black color connector. So in the similar way, using this hardware, if I want to measure any data, I need to use plus and minus. plus is for plus represents the source and minus represents the reference. Okay, so if you want to measure this 12 volt, this plus terminal I should connect to battery plus terminal, and minus terminal I should connect to the minus terminal of the battery. So it is similar as this plus and minus you can compare with red and black connector of DMM.
Okay.
Clear,
Sir,
sir? Clear with the
Oh,
plus and
I'm
minus
done.
terminal?
Okay, that's clear, sir. Next, in the upper one, 1 plus 1 minus that one, sir.
Yes, sir. Same, sir. Similar as like 0, 1 means this is 0 channel, 1 channel. Actually, we can able to measure two different signal. Okay, so 0
Okay.
is 1 channel. Like for example, I have 2 battery source. Let us consider I have 2 battery. Okay, if you want to
Okay.
measure voltage of 2 batteries, right? I can make use of 0 channel for one battery and 1 channel for another battery. So 0
Okay.
indicates like it is similar as oscilloscope. In oscilloscope, we have 2 channel, right?
Right.
In the same way, even here we have a 2 channel. So actually, we can able to measure 2 analog input.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else, sir?
1 minute, sir. Sir, last one, DIO means what, sir? Here?
DIO means digital input output, sir. These what are all we are seeing here, right? This is analog input and analog output. So in the same way, if you want to generate or acquire digital data, we'll be using these ports. So for digital,
Okay.
totally we have 8 channels, 0 to 7. So as of now, whatever we are seeing, right, everything with respect to analog. So if you want to generate or acquire digital data, we'll be make use of this.
That maximum range is from 0 to 5 volts.
Digital, sir. Yeah, yes, 0 to 5 volt.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yes. And here, Ramayan Pratap asked how much cost of NI MIDAC. Okay, so actually the price detail, right? I'm not aware about it. That will be with respect to the sales team. Okay, I'm not sure about the price. If possible, you can reach me. Okay, I have shared my number, right? You can reach me. I can share you the sales team number. You can reach regarding the price. Ramayan. Okay, so already I have shared my number. So this is my number. You can reach me to my number. I can share you the salesperson detail. You can contact him regarding the price.
Sir, please
Okay,
provide
so
this video also, sir.
which video, sir? Actually,
This,
I'm not
now
recording.
what you are.
Actually, I'm not
Okay.
recording, sir.
Okay.
Actually, the coordinator is recording. You can ask him. I'm not
Okay.
recording this.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, so actually now we can go for some 10 minutes break. Okay, we can continue the same after 10 minutes break. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we will take 10-minute break, and after 10 minutes we will start the next session. Mr. Raja?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell me.
Okay. So, dear participants, there is a break of 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, we will start the second session.